second order effect of having Cornell win those grant applications. Beginning farmer, as proud as we are, and we are enormously proud and unbiased. I think we have the smartest, the hardest working farmers in the world. The average age of a farmer right now in New York is 57. So we're going to have to inspire a whole new generation to come to the farm. And we're going to end up with a national security issue. We've got important provisions in this farm bill that help with access to land, access to training, access to credit, access to discount on insurance for that first 10 years as they get their, literally and figuratively, their roots in the ground. These are the virtuous reasons why we need to support the farm bill. And then for anybody who's mainly or just concerned about taxpayers, we save $40 billion in mandatory spending by reforms. And keep in mind, without a farm bill, we save nothing. Because without a farm bill, we get the status quo, and we don't get, for example, right now, we have corporate farms in the Midwest. We pay them to not farm. Now, how crazy is that? We've got to stop doing that. We can't afford to do that. It wasn't a good idea in the first place. We actually have reforms in this bill to get that done. So, it's important. You hear talk about the food stamp program, but I want to assure you right now, as somebody who believes in this firmly, we're going to have a safety net that people who need food stamps are going to get them. We're not going to end up with a situation where people who need that assistance, it's not there for them. But since the 1970s, we've had the Budget Act, and what happens is every year there are increases built in, whether or not you need them or not. So when folks say we're cutting food stamps in this bill, look, I'll just give you the plain math. 5 years ago, the last time we had a farm bill, there were $45 billion a year authorized in the farm bill. This year, the lowest figure that's talked about is $75 billion. So, 45 to 75, at least where I went to school, that's not a cut. What we're talking about is how much to increase it. And the Senate had a version at $76.5 billion. House version, $75 billion a year. Senate at $76.5 billion. 2 points there. You notice how it's more than 45. And the second thing is what we're talking about, there isn't a lot of difference. We're talking about 1% difference between the House and the Senate. Surely we can work this out. And we will. And we will work this out. And so, if you're interested in supporting farmers, we need to support this bill. If you're interested in the taxpayer, you need to support this bill. And if you're interested in people who need a safety net, you should be part of this bill. So what we're up against are strong forces on the extremes that are trying to derail the process. So it's important that we support this going forward. And I'll just say, I'll just talk about that. I look forward to a Q&A about anything you want to talk about. But politically, indeed, it's going to be a challenge. Anytime you're up against that kind of money, because you saw what happened here last fall. Opposition sent a negative mailer on me a day for like 2 to 3 straight weeks. People were getting in their mailbox. They were getting just an awful mailer. They're going to do the same thing and probably 2 or 3 times worse. So we're up to this. The advantage we have is last time, our district was almost 60% new. So I joke and I say, I got to run for Congress the first time, twice. Because I ran in 2010 and then I ran in a district where it was almost 60% new. I got to run for the first time. So now that's not the case in 14. Because as you know, I work every day and Mary Jo supports me on that score. When I'm not in DC, I'm all over the district. So we've been to all the towns already and we've been there in some cases multiple times. And so when they're doing this again in 14, the difference is people say, I met the guy. He doesn't have horns coming out of his head. Wait a minute, he's trying hard for us. So that's going to make it more difficult for them, even with all the money they have, is the fact that we've hustled all along. And the fact is we've set up our offices. We've got Dwayne here today, who helps us in the Kingston office, and we work for people, regardless of party. A Republican, Democrat, Independent, does not matter. We're trying to support people in every regard, and that we hope will put us in a stronger position too. So, but look, at the end of the day, we're not wearing rose-tinted glasses. We know we're going to have to compete in the air. We're going to have to compete on radio. We're going to have to compete in the mailbox. And the only way we're going to do that is by your generosity. And towards that end, thank you. Thank you for believing in us and for making your support today. And that's going to help us as we get stronger. But I look forward to a dialogue. Any curiosity that's on your mind, anything you've been reading in the paper, or it'd be great to have a little discussion.
Do you want to share?
Yeah, that'd be great, actually.